This. You covered Aaron for a long time. Passive-aggressive is sort of his MO. I imagine you weren't shocked by his post-game comments, which was a little blame-gamey. I thought a little blame-gamey. Were you shocked by it?
Not shocked at all. This is classic, right? I mean, this is somebody who cherishes the narrative, the headline. He knows the gravity of every word he says in that setting. Right out of another NFC Championship loss, and he knows what's going to happen locally, nationally when he questions his own future. It's oh my God, how could you do this to Aaron Rodgers? How could you not surround him with weapons? What is Brian Gutekunst doing? You have to make him happy, et cetera, et cetera. And we're not talking about the fact that he's now 1-4 in that game. We're not talking about missing Allen Lazard at the end of the first half. Look, he played a great game, but he also missed that touchdown. Maybe he runs in for a touchdown there before Matt LaFleur's decision to kick. So, yeah, we're talking about his future instead of what actually happened. Very calculated.
Wow, that's interesting. I never even thought about it like that. So let me ask you this. Listen, everybody this morning is going to blame Matt LaFleur. And that, you know, let's be honest, that may be calculating. How do you think LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers get along? The media now says it's great, but it did feel a little stressful after that game. Do you think they get along great?
I think they get along fine. You know, I'm not so sure day-to-day what that relationship is really like. Look, winning cures everything. I mean, they've won a lot of games, and publicly everything does seem just fine. You know, I think that Aaron Rodgers is definitely projecting some unhappiness here, right? But by saying that with that slight chuckle, is that unhappiness because of Matt LaFleur? I'm not so sure. Is it because of Brian Gutekunst and the way they built this team? Not so sure. Does he want a new contract? I mean, that's something to consider here, too. He sees what Patrick Mahomes just got from Kansas City. He believes he's at the absolute top of his game. He's going to win MVP. Maybe he wants more money. I don't know if he necessarily wants to get the heck out of Dodge and be traded out of Green Bay. I don't think he's that dumb. I don't think he's dumb enough to demand a trade in Green Bay because, you know, that for somebody that cares about that headline and that narrative that's very central to what he cares about, obviously. Or I don't think he wants to deal with that. But clearly there's some unhappiness here. And if we're going to take it a step further and ask, why would he be unhappy? I don't know. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that he was really happy with the additions to the defense.
That's right.
Remember, we got a defense after that win against Chicago in the opener 2 years ago. They did that. They've developed young talent. They have a lot of young talent on him, Lazard, MVS. And let's face it, look, there were some signs at the end of last season that maybe he is getting up there. Week 17 against Detroit, not necessarily pretty. The NFC Championship game, I know the defense got bowled over by Raheem Mostert. Rodgers wasn't that great in that game himself. You can justify this if you're Brian Gutekunst, somebody who worked under Ted Thompson. Ted Thompson worked under Ron Wolf. This is just how they do it in Green Bay, Colin. I mean, you know it. You find your quarterback before you need one.
Yeah.
And that's what they wanted to do here. They believe in Jordan Love. They don't want to play him right now. And to cut to the chase, I think that Green Bay, I think Brian Gutekunst just look at this and they don't even flinch. They don't even blink. They let Aaron Rodgers play under his contract. They try to develop Jordan Love. If those lines cross, they cross. If Aaron Rodgers plays like an MVP, that's the worst case scenario. Everybody wins, right?
Tyler Dunne, by the way, golongtd.com for more information. In Green Bay for years and years, you know, they love their quarterbacks. Bart Starr before social media, Favre, and Rodgers. But, you know, I always get hate mail from Green Bay. It's a smaller, almost collegiate-sized town. Bigger cities are more prone to accept, like, criticism of their stars because the local media is a little harder. Do you think that Aaron does have an occasional critic? I've said this before. Mahomes plays with joy, trailing in games. I thought Aaron sometimes plays tight, trailing in games. He doesn't play quite the same. Does he get any criticism in Green Bay? Are there Packer fans that go, sometimes it's Aaron?
I think so. I think there are some realists out there, no doubt. I mean, I lived there for a number of years, and they want a winner. I mean, the expectation is the Super Bowl year in and year out. It's not just to get in. It's to win championships. So I think he does have critics out there. And, you know, I think the Packers do know that their actions in drafting a Jordan Love and anything they do, if something ticks off Aaron Rodgers, anything at all, they're okay with that. He plays his best when he's ticked off, when he's mad. And what's going to get you more mad than finding his replacement, drafting his heir apparent in Jordan Love? We saw it this year. I mean, he took his game to a whole nother level. I don't care what he says. I mean, that's going to be in the back of your head if your boss just drafted your replacement. I mean, we saw Aaron Rodgers play unbelievably well. So I think that Brian Gutekunst, Matt LaFleur too. Matt LaFleur did his homework on Jordan Love. I mean, he's calling up David Yost, Love's offensive coordinator, and they're talking forever, getting the ins and outs of what makes Jordan Love tick. So this was an organizational decision, and they know the ramifications of this. They love the unintended consequences of this. Hey, maybe it is intended. And look, if the Packers were so bad, they wouldn't have been that close to making the Super Bowl. This was their year to have it. That was their game to win. Tom Brady throws 3 interceptions. You get 6 points off of that. They've got the weapons. MVS led the NFL in yards per reception. Alan Lazard had the game-sealing touchdown the week before. So don't give me that crap about no weapons around him. Give me those guys over Rob Gronkowski at this stage and Antonio Brown at this stage. There's enough there in Green Bay to win. And Aaron Rodgers played a great game, with the exception of a few plays. And now they're sitting at home.
Tyler Dunne is joining us, founder and writer at golongtd.com. Whole thing is fascinating to me. It is. Yesterday, Aaron was calling media people names, and he was just, I got to have a, I said I only got a minute left, but I did say, who is his sounding board? He's not married, apparently not tied to his family. Does he have, who is his sounding board? You tell me, when he was in Green Bay, did he have a tight social circle of guys, people?
I'm sure there's some media members, no doubt. And I don't know. I would just be guessing on that.
Yeah.
But you're right. I'm not sure there is that, direct person like we might have in our lives, day in and day out, to be that sounding board. Look, him being mad about some of this stuff is part of what makes him great too. He is motivated by a conversation like this, by a conversation anybody would have about him being unhappy, not playing well, what have you. So, it's funny. This is the number one story in sports right now, right, Colin? But I think at the end of the day, 2021, week 1, he's going to be the starting quarterback. They're going to be a Super Bowl contender. Jordan Love will keep developing, and we'll be exactly where we were.
Yeah. Tyler Dunne, the 2019 recipient of the Heard Big J Journalism Award. We retired it. It was like Cronkite. There's nobody else in the class. Tyler, appreciate you coming on again.
Thanks so much for having me, Colin. Loved it.
You bet.